I'm going to show you how to make a movie and how to edit it. I'm going to be using iMovie on my Apple computer. The mechanics will be very similar if you were to use, the Microsoft version and such. The only real thing that changes might be where the buttons are placed. Uh, so you can see here, welcome to iMovie. Get started. I have done this before. I don't know why it's telling me that. And you can see I have a nice long movie already finished and made. But we are going to go back to projects, just call that my movie, and we are going to create a new one. And so when you click on the create new, you can choose movie or trailer. We will be focusing on the movie one today. Click that, and it's just like any other empty document slideshow. This is your skeleton of it. Now, first thing you need to start doing, if you haven't already, is collecting the pieces you want. So with Black History Month having just finished, let's look up some famous Black individuals. So there's Eugenia Duodu. And so you can go in the main page, you can go to images, however you choose. As an educator, we want to make sure that we are using the proper rights for our pieces. So going to commercial and other licenses is not the right one. We want to go to the CCL, Creative Commons licenses. And as you can see, Eugenia Duodu does not come up with anything. So that is disappointing. If we are going to then use all, wherever we go and get the picture. So let's say I want to create part of my video with this one here. It's a lovely picture of her. We will first save image as. I like to use that as opposed to just save image because then you can choose where you will place something. So we're going to go just to downloads and then Eugenia Duodu and hit save. Now, as an educator, we want to make sure that we are giving proper credit. And so the citation in the video that I'll give will be the exact link in case anybody needs to have that. And so we can copy that, and we will create a pages document so that we can keep a hold of the proper link. Now, while that's loading, we have our first image here, so we can go back to iMovie, either import media or go to File, Import Media, just the long way around. After you have your first piece of media, you'll need to go and do File, Import Media, as opposed to seeing the button there. Now the content created, I have my downloads folder already expanded, so I can retract that and expand it again. Hit this button, your content created, once, and then again. So now it's going to go from most recent, so we can see Eugenia Duodu right there, and we'll import the selected file. Now you have your media piece here. Wonderful. You click and hold and drag it down. And now initially, the line here shows you the video fully expanded or condensed. It's only 4 seconds, so it's hugely expanded right now. Looks like a long 4 seconds. If we now go back to the pages, which should have loaded, new document, we can create a blank one, so already option there. And we can also, so we can put it in there, perfect. And that's because we don't necessarily know where we want to put the link. But this is a good opportunity to show how we add those citations into the videos. So you can either do at the very end an entire credits screen, or what I like to do is click titles, and then I choose one that I like. I personally like this one down here for any citations. Click, and then click and hold, and you bring it down. It defaults to 4 seconds. So you want to click the purple and make sure it's highlighted in the yellow. Then you can go into here, get rid of the large name, and then post your little link. And if you want to put it in larger so that people know you are citing properly, source, and there you go. That is finished. So now if we go to the beginning and we hit play, we have 4 seconds of an image with the word with our citation underneath. Now, if you notice, and I'll play it again, the video defaults to something. So the picture is moving. Some people like that, some people don't. Sometimes it's distracting and unnecessary. You want to click your picture, go to the crop symbol, and it starts with the Ken Burns. I don't know why it's called the Ken Burns, but it is. And you can see the arrow is pointing outwards. So the start is the smaller square, the end is the larger one, and it's going to go from the starting window out to the larger one. I'm not a big fan of Ken Burns all the time, and I'm not a fan of the crop to fill. The crop to fill is where it's just this space. I just like fit. So if normally the dimensions wouldn't be perfect, it will automatically put a black background for you. So that way, when you go back to here and you press play, it keeps the image nice and clear for you. So that is how you put those images together. Now, I don't know about you, but I happen to absolutely love more than one title. So right now I have my source with the website underneath, but I want Eugenia's name to come up. So to do that, you can either save the movie, export it, and then bring it back in. I find that is a little bit time consuming, especially if I'm going to be doing a lot of these images. And to do the export, you click this button up here, the share, and you would choose export file. The way that I'm going to do this is I'm going to open up Keynote, and you can most likely use Google Slides as well, because the mechanics are very, very similar between the two programs. Now this is where you can get some fancy pieces going on, and it actually really helps if you're wanting to layer on content, but you want it to appear at certain times. You do a new document, basic white, and you hit create. Now after it creates, the first thing you want to do, you want to change the background color. So this is how it opens up. This lovely basic white presentation. Background color here, change it, and I do the nice bright green. This color will be important later on, and the background has to be green. The rest of this, you can collect it all together, and then you can cut it. Goodbye. And you're left with just a green screen. Now, up in the top, I want to add in a text. It's nice and small right now, so right away, I can go to my different styles, and I'm going to do nice big fact. There we go, nice big text right there. And I want Eugenia's name. Eugenia Duodu. Now, we're going to make this a little bit smaller because we know it's going to go onto here. And I don't want her name to cover up her face. I think I want it to go in the nice top corner right here. So if I imagine the picture, it's that same size, we're going to eyeball it. And then we're going to shrink our size. Maybe not the fact size, we'll go down to statement. Click and drag it up. And now because I want to try and make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible, I'm going to send Duodu down. That way the levels are a little bit more intriguing than just having the name straight across. Drag it down a little bit more, because the goal is to get it into this top corner. But you also have to remember that the black bars are part of your screen. So I'm not going to go right to the end. I don't want it in here a little bit. We'll move that. There we go. Now, I like to use color for my text. So we'll change the color of it. Let's do, I like to coordinate things. She is wearing white, so let's do nice bright white text. Perfect. Now, if you go into this little gear here, click that. I love doing the outline. I think it always makes the letters look amazing, and I find the 1 point is often too little, so I like to bring it up to about the 5. Now, some people like to get it quite fancy and do a shadow. but you don't always have to do that. So I think for now I'm going to leave the shadow off, though I could try it a little bit bigger, and we'll blur it. And maybe we'll change how it points. So we'll go to the other way. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, let's keep the shadow then. Now, I find the letters are a little bit close together, so I'm going to split them up a bit. So the character spacing, let's go to about 2%, maybe 4. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. That way you can actually see the shadows and it doesn't look too busy. Click anywhere you choose. That way it gets rid of that. And now you have what you want to add on. So let's click it again. And we want to go to Animate. Choose an effect. And with words, I've really gotten into this particular one. It's called Trace. You can hit Preview. And so it does a really nice writing of it. But you can choose any of the ones you want. You want to make sure, though, that you're in the build in. That means entering into your screen. So let's do the nice trace. And so it defaults to 2 seconds, which is usually a good amount of time, I think. And now we're going to do a build out. So we have it come in, but we might want it to leave, especially if we're going to add in another picture. So we're going to add the effect, and let's just do a blur, a simple blur. Preview, and then it just disappears like that. Let's choose that. Wonderful. Now, I'm going to decrease it a little bit. I like my exits to be a little bit faster. Now, the important part here is to make sure you do your build order. Right now, I only have 2 options. I have my enter and my exit. Now, my enter, on click. That means it's just going to go when the movie hits play, because it's the first build order. For your second one, you want to make sure it goes after if it's an exit, or if you're going to have more than one thing appear on the screen at the same time, you'll do it with. But for here, because we want it to exit, I'm going to choose after. Now, if this takes 2 seconds to enter, I want the name to be there for another 2 seconds. So I'm going to highlight this, or just erase it, and do another 2 seconds. And now that I have my 2 seconds, I should be all set. And you can preview to make sure it actually does what you want. So if we do 2 seconds, and then you count 1, 2, exit. Perfect. Now maybe I want to get a little bit more complicated. So let's add another text. We'll go to our format. We'll choose our text, and let's do a quote. That way it's a little bit smaller. And now you can see this lovely little orangish line that appears. That means it's going to be the same level and centered. It's a great indicator, and I do like that from a lot of programs, whether it be Slides or Keynote. It just helps you out to keep things aligned. So we'll double click it, and we'll type in Canadian Doctor. Now it's gone off to the side, so we will enter it. Now, I don't like having a centered and an off to the right style, so we'll highlight this again and put it center. And there we go. Now for this, let's choose the white again, because we have that nice white shirt that we want to relate to. Do our gear, do an outline, and increase it to 5 points so we actually see it. And then a shadow. Now we'll do the reciprocal. So yeah, 45, so it's pointing the other way. Increase it to our 10 points and our 5-point blur. And we will space out the letters again. Perfect. Now, looking at this, I don't actually like that my word is smaller, so I'm going to go back and change it to the statement. Oh, and it redid everything. So, very quickly, we go color, we go to our outline, 5 points, shadow, 10 points, blur at 5, and then let's space out our letters. Excellent. Perfect. Now, if we don't do anything with this piece here, this text, the Canadian Doctor, it's just going to sit there, and we're going to see it before and after her name comes on. So we have to animate it as well. So we'll add in a build in, And because it's writing, we'll do another trace. I like the consistency of it. And instead, because it's on the right side, I'm going to flip it, do the right to left, I think. And then we also want to build out. So let's do our blur. Perfect, and we'll decrease it to 1 second as well. And now we have our animations. So let's go to our build order, the ever important build order. I want her name, Duodu's name, and the fact that she's a Canadian doctor to come in together. So I have to click the start of the Canadian doctor, move it up, and now it's in the middle. So if I have her name come in first, set on click, good. Now if I go to the Canadian doctor, I want it to come in at the same time. So we're going to do a with build 1. That means Canadian doctor and her name, Eugenia Duodu, are going to come in at the same time. Now I want the blur to go afterwards, and we're going to wait for 2 seconds. So after number 2 is in, this is going to start 2 seconds. Then we will have the blur out. Let's do it with that one. Perfect. So now they should leave together. And I'm not going to do any delay because it goes with this one. So they will both be delayed by 2 seconds. Excellent. Now, we have everything we want to put onto the video. So we are going to go to File. And instead of saving, we go to Export. And we go down to Movie. And you get this lovely little screen. Now, the important part here is this section. You have a slideshow, and it has some animations. So it's not that it just lasts for 1 second. It might very well, but most likely more. I usually do ballpark higher number, so I go to maybe 20 seconds. It's not going to last 20 seconds, but that way it's more rather than less. I click Next, and then I can give it a name. So we will give it Test 1, and we hit Export. And you can see that it is creating it. The shorter it is, and the fewer animations, the faster it'll take, but it honestly does not take too long. I've done 3-minute long ones, and it takes, I think, at most 10 to 30 seconds before it's completely finished. This is actually taking long for, I don't know why. Maybe my computer's slow today. That's okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to go back to my movie. I go to my media. And now you can see there's no Import Media button here. So as I said, you have to go to File, Import Media. You have to click the content created again so that it goes to the most recent. And you can see test number 1. Fantastic. I will do Import Select. And I have it here. Now, before you do anything else, drag it so that it's beside. And the reason for this is we have 27 seconds, but we know the actual animations are a lot shorter, because look at here. They don't actually start until this point. So if we right-click and do split-click, you can see 2 seconds we've taken off. We just delete that. And now we have our animations. And where do they end? Where do they end? Perfect. So we'll click here. Right click, split clip, 20 seconds, get rid of that. And now our animation total is 5.1. Now we'll click this and drag it up, and you can see that the title goes above it. You can only have one title, so that's where this piece can really help. You can have multiple. And if we look, ooh, the animation is a lot longer than the video. Well, the picture video. So we're going to click that, go to the eye, and change the time to be the same length, which was about 5.1 seconds. So we type in 5.1, press enter, and now they have matched. I'm not going to change the source because I don't want it on a whole long. I'm actually going to decrease it, bring it down to about 3 seconds. I want the focus to be on the Black Canadian. Now I explained or said before that the green color is very important. You click this actual animation part, and you go to this first button, the video overlay settings. In here, you'll see cutaway. So right now what's happening, instead of going to the picture, it's cutting to the green. If we click this, we can do green, blue screen. And what that does is the green screen disappears and all you're left with is the animation. Now you do have to be careful and not choose green and blue colors that you might want on your screen, because those could disappear. I have had that happen before, and then you have to go back and redo your pieces. And now we go to the start, and if we want to make it nice and big, and we press play. Look at that, they come in nicely and then they should leave. Wonderful. And if you want to see that they actually do leave, we will extend our picture out more. So we can go back to about the middle, press play, and they disappear and there's still the picture. So that's some basic video making editing. A lot of people are super intimidated by it, but this is an incredibly easy piece to do. You can add music underneath, and so if that's the case, what I would do is I would add in another title. So I could place this right here, decrease it to maybe 2 seconds, and then whatever song I choose. So let's say I want to do song, I don't know any science-based songs. So let's do Big Bang Theory. Big Bang Theory theme. She's a doctor. That's a song about science. I'd prefer to have chosen a black song right away, but my brain apparently associated science and the TV show faster than any other song. So that's the one that we're going to go with. Again, I really like doing the outline, so in the text, just hit the little O, and I like to make it bold as well. You can do that for the other one here. Do the outline and bold. Oh, wonderful. Now, as I said before, you could do multiple edits to the same video simply by exporting it. But let's pretend that I'm all finished. So I hit my share button. I go export file. I like to put a title here. That way I can find it easier. And if I choose to load it to YouTube, it makes it automatically give that title. So we'll just type in Eugenia Duodu and hit next. You have your saved here. I'm going to choose my BHM and hit save. And then up in the corner, you get this wonderful little circle that as it fills in, that's how much longer you have left. So you can see it has 1 minute left, not super long. It is a short video, 9 seconds, 7 seconds. Oh, this is lightning fast compared to videos I've done before. You know, when you have a 40-minute long video, that takes some time. And then you can see that it's all finished. So you can exit. And now, if you go into your Finder, if you have your recents, then you have your test 1, or you go into your documents, Black History Month, and here is my brand new video. So that is some super easy editing. Didn't take super long, and it's extremely helpful, especially with our virtual learning right now. You're able to put different pieces of text to have up here, and it'll allow students to, if you want them to copy down an important point, or if you want them to have a question, but you want some information on there, all sorts of different things. That's also how you can have multiple pictures on at the same time. Instead of doing text, you simply do pictures there, and you just have your order in and your order out. Hope that helps, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, let me know. Bye.